In the year of 2021, we can see a lot of interesting things happening this year. We are seeing foldable devices finally getting more mainstream, and also a lot of mainstream phones, a bunch of them getting spammed into the market just to see what sticks. And some mid-range phones even have IP rating now, so that's good. So to celebrate these years of mobile phones, let's take a look at our selection of the best phones of the year 2021. I think what we'll do is that we'll go through all of the phones in a list from a descending order in terms of price. So we reviewed a bunch of phones this year, actually 36 phones in total across 12 different brands, and I'm counting Xiaomi, Poco and Redmi as 3 separate brands because I don't know what the company is doing, and sometimes they consider them as separate brands, sometimes they're not, and sometimes they're rebranding, so I don't know what's up. Out of all 36 phones that we reviewed, we only gonna talk about those that are worth highlighting in this year, and then we'll skip everything else that's just not worthy of highlighting at all. And with that out of the way though, let's go with the most expensive phone that we reviewed this year, the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 3. And I absolutely love this phone. It's the first generation of foldable device that I think it's feasible to be used in a day-to-day basis, and it also has IP rating, which I think is the most important feature of all. And it is also compatible with the S Pen, though storing the S Pen is a pain in the butt. And oh, that Snapdragon 888 chipset is also another pain in the butt, but I'll leave that for another day. And I've been daily driving the Galaxy Z Fold 3 for I think nearly 3 months now, and damn, I'm never gonna go back to a flat phone anymore. Foldables is the future, and this phone literally got me started into the foldable future. And secondly is the Samsung Galaxy S21 Ultra. This phone is expensive, but it's absolutely the best Android slab phone of this year. Samsung started off this year really strong, and I love everything that this phone has to offer. Its iconic design, the magnificent screen, the amazing cameras, and also the user experience, alongside with its monthly software updates, and that's just amazing, right? With that Exynos 2100 chipset, which I think is better than the Snapdragon 888 chipset, yeah, I just like that phone a lot. And then comes the third phone is the Galaxy Z Flip 3. Now, this is the first ever modern flip phone that I'll consider to be mature enough. It does come with a bunch of upgrades over the first generation, for example the larger cover display, which I think is much more usable now, but the battery life is still insufficient. But I still would say the Galaxy Z Flip 3 is a hot selling phone because I actually see people using that phone out in the open, so that's a good sign. And number 4 is a weird one, the Oppo Reno 6 Pro. Now, it's a tad more expensive for what it has to offer, but it's actually quite a good phone overall. What I have a problem with is the release cycle of Oppo's Reno series of smartphones, because every 6 months they're gonna refresh everything. And for a phone with such a price, you shouldn't really refresh every 6 months. And number 5, I'm lumping 2 phones together in this, is the ROG Phone 5 and the ROG Phone 5S series of smartphones. Now, these 2 series is very similar to each other, as the differences is only between the chipset, which is the Snapdragon 888 or the Snapdragon 888 Plus. And like what we showed in our comparison video, these 2 chipsets don't really make that much of a difference, so whichever you buy is still gonna perform more or less the same. And if you're gonna combine it with some other accessories like the Aeroactive Cooler 5 with the 2 buttons at the back, it literally made the ROG Phone 5 series of smartphones, even the 5S, as one of the best gaming smartphones of the year 2021. And then number 6 that is worth highlighting is the Asus Zenfone 8. Oh man, I really do like this phone. It's really tiny, and the Zenfone 8 is literally the only Android alternative to the iPhone mini. However, it does come with a few caveats, of course. The lack of a telephoto camera is something that I just don't prefer, and it's also having a relatively small 4000 mAh battery, though these caveats are kind of expected for a phone of this size. And then phone number 7 is the Black Shark 4. Now, the Black Shark 4 brought 2 things that I really like. Number 1 is the low price of 1,999 ringgit only, and also the Black Shark 4 actually has 2 triggers just like the Black Shark 3 Pro from last year. Combining that with the Snapdragon 870 chipset, which is better than 888, it's just quite unbeatable for the price that it has to offer and also all of the performance that it has to offer. As for highlight number 8 though, I'm lumping 3 phones together, the Samsung Galaxy A72, A52 and also the A52s, because they are awfully similar to each other, but they all have their own differences. So they are all IP67 rated, which is amazing. They all have a massive 5000 mAh battery and they all come with a colorful plastic body. However, the similarities do end there. So they each have their own specialties, like what we mentioned earlier. The Galaxy A72 has a bigger display and also a very complete camera setup. And then the Galaxy A52 though, its price is unbeatable. So I do like that, and I can see a lot of people opting in for the A52 just for the price alone. And then there's also the Galaxy A52s. Now, this phone is a bit weird. It's technically an upgraded version of the Galaxy A52 with a better chipset, but the camera setup is pretty much the same. So the price is also upgraded, of course, but to really recommend one of these phones is kind of difficult. So I would have to say you have to do your own research to see which of these 3 phones will suit you the most. Highlight number 9 is the Xiaomi 11T. And I know it's weird, I picked the Xiaomi 11T instead of the 11T Pro. And like what we mentioned in our review and comparison of those 2 phones, the MediaTek Dimensity 1200 is much better than the 11T Pro Snapdragon 888 chipset. And they both have the same cameras if I remember correctly, and the only difference here is the post-processing done on that camera. And I would say it's just not worth the extra money to opt in for the 11T Pro, so get the 11T. And highlight number 10 is the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE, and this phone has a really long name and I still have no idea what the NE means. I think it means new edition, but whatever. It's a phone that is really thin and it's also very lightweight, and I think a lot of people will like that kind of design choice. So yeah, this 11 5G NE, Xiaomi 11 5G NE, Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE. Yeah, the name is obnoxious, but it's still a good phone. Highlight number 11 is the Redmi Note 10 Pro, and I really do like this phone a lot. Back when it was first launched, I think it got a little bit like a short end of the stick. It didn't got a chance to shine, so to speak. You see, Xiaomi was spamming the market with a lot of different phones at that time, and the Redmi Note 10 Pro was one of those phones. I think that is because why this phone was forgotten. It was drowned within the sea of Xiaomi phones, Redmi phones and also Poco phones that was released at the time. The spam of phones continued, and I think, yeah, the only alternative to the Redmi Note 10 Pro this year is the Xiaomi 11 Lite 5G NE that we spoke of earlier. And then highlight number 12 is in the cheaper realm. This is the Redmi 10. And I think it's a fairly decent price for the phone overall. There's a lot of competition in this price range, but yeah, if you want a phone that's capable of doing everything, then the Redmi 10 is a good option. Highlight number 13 is a weird one. It's been a long time since I reviewed an Infinix phone, and the Hot 10s was a pleasant surprise. I love everything that the phone has to offer, barring the bloatware and also the micro USB port. The price of $499 for that phone though is really just uncomparable. So what did we learn this year? I think we learned a lot of things, both you the viewer and us the reviewer. So it is the year that heat management on a phone comes very important, and yeah, you know, the Snapdragon 888 chipset is heating up beyond belief, so I don't think this is going to get any better, especially when 5G is gonna come to Malaysia soon, and perhaps we can try that out in the future as well. And we also talk about why this chipset heats up, so you can check it out at the top right corner there or in the description. And because phone heating up is inevitable, it opens up a floodgate of snake oil marketing. We realize many things can't really be explained in words, so that is why we just straight up show you guys how things work, like gaming tests for example. That is why we abandoned benchmarks since like last year, and 500 points difference in AnTuTu doesn't really translate to real world usage, right? So we'll show you performance instead. So here's what we're going to do in the next year. We got a brand new thermal camera, which is right there, and we'll use it to show thermal data and where the phone gets hot and where is the hottest temperature that you will feel on your hands. So with all of these data, you can technically make a pot of water with the same temperature and then put your hand inside and you can feel what we are feeling. Unfortunately though, for gaming, we can't promise an FPS meter because it's not that straightforward in terms of Android devices and testing the FPS and whatnot. Utilities like PerfDog is also not free now, so you gotta pay a premium just to use that. And we also continue to put an emphasis on software next year. So in this year, we saw a lot of bad smartphones and tablet software. So it is very important to call out these companies if their software is buggy and if the software sucks. And for those companies that promise software updates for X amount of years, we'll hold you accountable to that. For example, Nokia. Also, we'll continue to test some other miscellaneous stuff, for example, charging speed and its proprietary standards, display output over Type-C, and perhaps even 5G speeds when it's available, and also when my SIM card is compatible with 5G. So whichever the case may be, we do thank you for all of your support for this year 2021, and we'll bring you even more content and honest reviews for the year 2022. I don't know whose car is farting outside, but yeah, that's the end of this video, and we'll see you guys in the next video. I'm sure we still have some videos by the end of the year, so yeah, goodbye.